stop copying people. You're not standing out in front of your audience. Audience can sense the bullshit out of you. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to copy somebody else because they look cool in front of in the camera. If you're trying to impersonate, like, if you try to copy somebody else, that is like a huge red flag. We see big successful creators, but how many of them are big and successful?
SocialTAG, like when I see the website, when I see the clients you've worked with, when I see the creators you're associated with, for me it looks like, wow, this is an established company, at least like in terms of the feel, look, and the whole space. Like the clients that you worked with are very good clients, and I mean for any agency I think that's also the dream. So did you have like any backhand idea of this entire space? What gave you the confidence to immediately jump into it?
I think you keep doing the good work. Nothing was planned. I didn't plan to start an agency. I didn't plan to start SocialTAG. It just happened, I think I feel I was just there, right place, right time, met right people, did the right work. That's how we got our first few clients, because people saw us do the good work. They're like, oh, maybe you should do this, we should collaborate. And then things just happened that way.
How did you feel when you got your first client, and what was like that moment?
First client, I think Raj was my first client. I started working with him, learned most about creator economy while working with him, right? And then I was like, okay, maybe if I can help one creator, why not? Start an agency, help more creators. Then we signed Digital Pratik. We did like a very massive event with him, which no other agency was doing it. That's what also differentiated us from other agencies on how you go above and beyond to fulfilling your creators or your artists' requirement, right? Like he wanted to do an NFT event.
Oh yeah, so, I remember that Pune wala event.
No, it was Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad, okay, yes. I remember a lot of creators had come there. Manish Pandey, Paritosh, and all of them were there. About
25 creators were there. India's top 25 creators had come down to Ahmedabad. We organized the entire event. We got the sponsors for the event, and so doing things which in general other agencies were not doing, while they were just focusing on getting brands, we were focusing on how do we strengthen or deepen our relationship with our creator to fulfill what they want from their career, because at the end of the day we are partners to them, helping them fulfill their vision.
Yeah, like I have one question. I think it sounds very nice when you're saying it, okay, but there's of course a level of difficulty that you face, challenges, difficulties while you're going through. Now I'll tell you one incident that happened to me recently.
Yeah.
Like I have one of my friends who runs this page called Official Broke Brothers. Okay. So he does like street interviews. And so he said, we'll do a cameo, and you can just say if you have any hiring opportunities in your company, and if people want, they'll apply.
Yeah.
I mean, I never expected that reel will hit like 100 or 200k views. And I got like thousands of applications, especially for social media roles. It could be from content, managing, writing, then the whole agenda. Now, as a beginner, when you were working with Raj, you would have gone through certain challenges. Now, I had thousands of DMs. And most of these people want to work with me, but they're saying we're freshers, how can I help you? I'm really interested in content, but you tell me what to do. What would be an actual way that these freshers can pitch to me that I'll actually say yes?
Provide value, provide how, if you're to work with anybody, provide how you can solve their problems. So when I started working with, like how I got in touch with Raj, he used to post like a lot of content, and he was doing everything. Back then 2020 was doing everything by himself. A lot of times you post content, maybe there's some grammatical error, caption error or whatever. I used to just DM him correcting the mistakes. And content creation is not an easy job, right? Like you can't do everything by yourself. You need like a solid team behind you helping you with things. So I just sent him, I just DM'd him helping how he can change, right? And then he's like, oh, okay, nice, thanks, whatever. Then he asked me, listen, I need a manager and I'm moving to Bombay. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, of course. He's like, okay, send me a resume. Any normal person would send like a one-pager document about anything. And I knew that this would help me stand out. How do I stand out? I made like a video resume, somebody who's not comfortable with camera, somebody who doesn't know how to edit. I sat down, wrote a script, did like the entire shoot, shot with my phone, edited it myself, figured iMovies and everything. Tried doing all of that, right? And then I sent him that video. he didn't reply for a week or so, and then he replies like, oh, listen, come down to Bombay. Even he knew I don't know things about creator economy, but he just saw the effort that somebody put in. He's like, oh, let's do it.
I'm sure. Like, even just from a third person's perspective, just the fact that you were willing to go out of your comfort zone to work with me, that simply shows your effort and your character that is so strong. And I would want to work with somebody who's able to figure out and get to their comfort zone rather than somebody who's saying, ha, no, you tell me how to do it. Right? So I think that proactiveness is also something that makes things align.
I think that's what happened, and since then we have been working till date. We've been working together, so I think that just helped. You just show, if anybody wants to work with somebody, I think with Raj, I really resonated with his content. That was also one plus point where I knew, oh, maybe I could work with him because I like his content, I like what he does, and I really want to work with him. So if you like a creator or anybody, you follow the person, you figure out what he or she needs help with. Just try to help them. People will reply to you if you're helping. If you show that you can provide value, people will work with you.
I think the point you said is extremely valuable and underrated as well, because only if you're a consumer can you actually be a believer.
Correct.
Right? If you don't consume the content, how will you believe in it and go a little extra mile when it is necessary? So I feel being a consumer of that content you're producing is so important because you're on the same page.
Correct.
Now, moving on. Now, Raj was like the opening door of your journey. And today you've signed on some of the top creators in, should I call it like the finance space or more of the educational space?
Yeah, infotainment, any creators providing value. I think value-driven content is something that I am really bullish on.
Nice.
I resonate with that sort of content. I know if I'm working with these creators, I can actually provide value.
Nice.
So I think that is the niche that SocialTAG is, following, and we're trying to get creators who are in that space.
Nice. And I think I'm also very bullish on that space because the very fact that we're shooting this podcast is to establish ourselves in that space. So talk to me through what is it that one aha moment you get when you see a creator and you say, hey, listen, I think me and this individual can actually make a great team together.
I think creators need to have that entrepreneurial mindset. A lot of creators, lack that. So a creator who has that entrepreneurial mindset knows his content, because content creation has become there's no entry to barrier. Everyone's creating content. Was that one thing that's standing you out from other creators? Most creators are just copying content. You know how it is.
Correct.
You scroll Instagram, you just see 5 similar content, right? 5 similar content pieces. So what's standing you out, and how entrepreneurial are you in terms of with your content creation? I think these are the 2 things that I personally look at when signing any creator.
So, like, you gave us 2 specific metrics. Is there a moment where you actually signed a creator even though there was something different, or like your gut would have said something and or maybe your mind would have said something and you went with your gut instinct and that association went on to become something big? Do you have like a big success story like that?
I think all the creators that we are working with is kind of a success story for us, right? Like from Anushree Jain to Ayush Vadva to Saptarshi, right? Different domains. A UI UX designer who's a creator has a massive community. I think all the creators that we are working with, these are success stories for us because we've signed them while they were, in their growing stage, and we want to grow with them. So I think time will tell and reveal our success story there.
Interesting. And I'm looking forward to that success because I feel when you're working with the brightest creators in the country, you also have a promise that yes, we as a team can do great things. Now, I want to know, how is content creation as a profession? Because I work with 18-year-olds and I work with people who are like 25 and are working and are considering content creation at some point of time. What do you think about content creation as a career?
I think it's a viable career till the time you know what sort of content you want to create, who are you creating it for, like your target audience, and how good are you with building your community. I wouldn't say that, start creating content, make it your full-time thing. Experiment with other things first. Start content creations as a side thing. see how it's going for you. Content creation is not for everybody, right? We see big successful creators, but how many of them are big and successful? How many creators are actually making money, or how many creators are actually monetizing their audience? So you have to be very smart with the decisions that you make, especially if you're young. You have the time to try and experiment. So why not explore multiple options and then decide, okay, maybe this is the thing for me. But content creation is viable as a career option if you give your full to it. If you know this is your thing, if you have carved that niche for yourself, if you've carved, that kind of teach you on a target too. So I think a few questions you need to introspect and answer to yourself before starting your creator journey on why you want to be a creator. Is it the fame that you want? Is it the money that you want? Do you want to provide value? Is it just for your hobby? You have to answer these questions to
It's
yourself.
more on the why.
Yeah, why do you want to create content?
Now let's say I'm pursuing it as a viable career opportunity. Do you think the number of followers that are there on matter in terms of making money or building a career around my content creation? What do you think about it? And I have a parallel question to that.
I think number game is again what you want to become as a content creator. Do you want to build like a very tight knitted community, or do you want like 1 million followers but you may not have like a very tight knitted community? Depending upon your why, I think the entire I would want to summarize it saying that you can make money even with like 100k followers. You may not make money even if you have like a
million followers.
Yeah, like you may not make as much money even if you have like 1 million followers. It depends on the kind of community and the kind of followers that you have.
Very interesting, and I think this is again a conversation I had with the same guy, Official Broke Brothers, right? Like he has 123k, and this just happened in four months.
Yeah.
Right, which is great growth.
Yeah.
But I told him there is somewhere that he has to check something around. So coming back to that context is, when does a creator actually start deciding that I am going to put my effort, money, time and resource into building community? Is it after he sees an initial growth of 10, 15k followers, or when does he decide that the community is how I cash in and make my value proposition and make money?
I think it can start with as low as like 5,000 people.
Okay.
5,000 is not a small number. Imagine 5,000 people following you. You may have 10, 15, 20, 50 loyal audience from that 5,000 people too. So I think there's no number to it. It's just how well aware you, like what kind of awareness do you have about your audience? How well do you know your audience? If you have something valuable to sell, it doesn't have to be just brand monetization. Like a creator makes money through gazillion of, like a lot of ways in which how a creator can make money, right? Maybe you can have like a valuable product that you can sell to your, out of 5,000, you can sell to your 50 loyal people that follows you, right? So
correct.
Monetization also doesn't have a number. You just need to have like the right product that you can sell to your audience, which also gives value or provides value to your audience.
Very interesting. So what would you suggest would be the top 3 ways a creator can actually monetize? Like even it could be like the most common ways as well, but the top 3 ways any creator can make money.
Any creator, I think brand deal is something that creators make money with. Building courses, providing value to your audience. Suppose you as a creator, you run career counseling, career courses. Anybody who's following you may need your help. You could provide them with a maybe product or consultation, anything. That's how you can make money. Third could be how you can, because you already have a set distribution, how can you use that distribution and build a brand for yourself? Like a lot of creators are now entering to building brands for themselves.
Correct.
So these are maybe 3 things where on how you can make or monetize your distribution.
I just want to dwell a little more on the third point. So you're saying collaborate with people who are younger creators and then possibly monetize that channel with younger creators, is what you're saying? Like maybe
creators building brands for themselves. Like if you've seen Tech Burner, he started
this
brand called Layers. If
you
see so creators building brands, creators becoming entrepreneurs using and leveraging their distribution with that.
Makes sense. Like you create your own product and like maybe like how Project had her own merch and stuff like that. Yeah. Now as a creative agency, can you quickly tell me what are like the services you offer to your clients?
as a creative agency, we have three verticals in the company, one being talent management, the other being influencer marketing, and the third one being PR. When you talk about talent management, we manage creators exclusively from like an AVTV, Ayush Vadva, Digital Pratik, Deepak Parekh, Saptarshi, these are creators we exclusively manage. The second vertical being the influencer marketing vertical, where we actually help brands with strategy-led influencer marketing campaigns. A lot of times brands would spend like shit ton of money on creators, but it may not be strategically driven on what kind of content the creators, what kind of messaging it has to go out to the world, what will drive them sales, brand awareness, lead generation, whatever is the objective of the brand with that particular campaign. So we help brands with finding the right sort of creators. It may be from our roster, it may not be from our roster, right? So getting right creators for brands for their campaigns is what we do. The third one being PR, where we help our creators reaching out to the right places, making them meet, network with the right people, putting their thoughts and everything out there. So these are three things that we do in our company. We're also part of a bigger cloud. We're part of Owl Network, where we have three different companies: Out Media, Out Social, and then SocialTAG. So yeah, this is what we're doing. We're trying to help brands with 360-degree services, from content, ad, everything in one place. So yeah.
That's nice. Going on to your first vertical, you said talent management. How important is it for a content creator to get a manager on board? And when should a manager come on board?
I think it's, as I mentioned it earlier, right? Like content creation from the outside world looks very fascinating, right? But it's not that easy. You can't do everything by yourself. Content creation is not an easy job to do. You are a creator. You know how many things you require on a day-to-day life, from scripts to shooting. You need assistance with shooting, editing, content calendar, what kind of content would work, and of course comes monetization stage, when you want somebody who acts as your partner, helping you monetize your business, because you are a creative folk who understands his content and the creative part of the side, but there has to be a business hand to the side, because sirf creativity se ghar nahi chalega, you need money, right? So finding that right sort of partner for you who would help you monetize your content is very essential. I think there's no right time for it. There has to be like a right sort of person you need to find who can understand your content, who believes in your content as much as you believe in your content. That's when the person can sell your content. So I think that's really important. Being said this, I think it is important for somebody to, if you have that entrepreneurial mindset, if you want to monetize your content, you should have an agency or a partner with you who's helping you with monetization and distribution.
Nice. I think that's a very good point, and people should at some point of time get help. Because you can't be an expert in everything. You can be an expert on your topic for content, but you can't be the expert who's running the business. You can't be the one monetizing your content, then also getting yourself gigs to go speak. I think it gets crazy, and I think this is where content creators, if they want to go to the next step, have to somehow associate with smarter people, people who are pioneers or leaders in their own industry. And I think that's how you could take a step forward. If not, I think it takes a lot of time and effort for creators to do all the things for themselves.
Scaling, I think for scaling, you need right sort of partners.
True.
But if it was just like a hobby, if you're just creating content for fun, if you don't plan to monetize it, then I think there's no need for you to have somebody full time, because then you'll be wasting your and another person's time. If you're serious about your content, if you know your content has the potential, find the right partner who believes in your content as much as you do, so that you all can build something massive and something big for yourself.
Wow. I think that's a great point. Moving on, now tell me, you've had great content creators in your team. If there would be a few other names I'd ask you to pick that you'd want to work with from SocialTAG who are in the content creator space, who would it be and why?
I think any creator who has massive potential, who knows his content and has a differentiating factor, you would want to work with them.
Okay.
The creator has to stand out in terms of the kind of content they're creating, and their vision and value has to match with ours. If that is aligned, we would want to work with that creator. Naming any specific creator, I think time will tell us who we sign, then you would know which creators we wanted to work with and we would have those creators.
But you want to stick to the kind of niche that you're sticking to right now, even going ahead in the future?
I think I don't want to say no, we don't want to get other creators. We never know, right? Like time will tell us what happens. But I think at least in next 1 year, what we plan to do with the agency is to get creators in the infotainment space, work with them because we understand that space really well. We want to be the pioneer in that space and then figure out maybe if we want to cater other spaces or no. But right now the focus is infotainment space.
Nice. I think that's very interesting because I'm also from that space, and to really see what you guys are pulling through, I think is a great delight. I've also known Ayush for a little bit, and I know all of your creators here and there. But I must say it's a great team, and you guys are fantastic with whatever you're doing. Keep up the good job. And now tell me this: in terms of influencer marketing, we know money is there.
Yeah.
But one more thing about influencer marketing is trends change, patterns change, the algorithm changes. What are some of the things that you see changing in the near future when it comes to influencer marketing?
I think brands will start focusing on, right now it's a new space for everyone. From print to people have gone to digital and now influencer marketing is taking shape, right? Brands will start focusing on the quality creators, premium creators in terms of their audience, production quality. People will start focusing on that premiumness. That is something that I see because सबके पास audience है अभी, but who's the right sort of audience for that specific brand? Because brands also can't throw money right, left, and center, right? If their audience persona is matching a creator's audience persona, that is when it makes sense for a brand to put in money or collaborate with that creator. That being said, I think now what we foresee and when we speak to a lot of brands, we've realized that brands would want to associate with creators not just for one collaboration but for longer time, right? Because that's how a creator would become an advocate for the brand and not just like a transactional relationship where we're talking about one product one day and then talk about the similar product from a different brand the next day.
Correct.
Brand advocacy has to be there for a fruitful relationship between the brand and the creator.
Correct. And you can't create like internal competition or confusion amongst your audience by endorsing products which kind of have the same USP or the same outline, right?
Correct.
Now another thing that I also realize is content creators could be super creative.
Yeah.
They can come out with the craziest stuff. But when it comes to an ad integration,
Yeah.
I've realized there are only few people who could actually make an integration so smooth that you won't even realize it's an ad. Right? And I remember
that's the beauty of influencer, and that's when the brand gets most out of it, when his audience are not realizing it's an ad. It's integrated so well with the kind of content you already make. That's a win-win situation for both brand and the creator. That's a sweet spot that you need to hit.
Like, I'll give you one example that I really like. I like Ganesh. I like how Ganesh does it.
Yeah.
And like I watch a lot of it, and the best part is my mom also watches it. Okay, like, and I know why, because the content is generic, but it could be consumed by everybody. My mom, my grandpa, and me can watch Ganesh at the same time. But my mom and grandpa don't even realize that he's doing a brand integration. Like,
I think with Ganesh, things school content is very well out there.
Yeah. I mean, I find it like the premium content that's there in our industry.
Yeah.
But I think anybody who's trying to do an integration and is in the content space should aspire to do it like Ganesh.
I think the content that Ganesh does is really incredible, that people should aspire to create that sort of content. He's reached like a 3 million mark, and what value, that the kind of value that he's providing to his audience, that's massive. And business schools, IIMs, IITs are playing his videos and showing it to the class. That I think is the benchmark that any creator in the space, especially the infotainment space, should reach out to. Like colleges, like the country's best colleges, playing your video in a class to educate their students. I think that's the benchmark any creator should hit. Like all creators should aspire to hit.
Makes sense. And like you said, like maybe you studied in an IIM or not, But at the end of it, if they're playing your video in an IIM class,
Yeah.
what more validation do you need, man? Like in an IIM class, the premium institution of our country looks up to you as a case study or
Correct.
a source for a case study. I think that truly is the benchmark. And I also have another question. Like sometimes I feel while I'm doing content creation, running my own company, and also trying to do courses at the same time,
Yeah.
this burnout is such a common factor. It's such a common factor. Um, how do you think people who are tied up with a 9 to 5 job or with a business should manage their time, including content creation? What do you think is the secret recipe you've seen with the content creators you've worked with?
Yeah, prioritize it. Don't do it forcefully. Like, don't create content because you're forced to do it. Create content because for the love of content creation. Till the time you're doing what you love, even if you're burnt out or even if you don't have enough time, you eventually will figure it out on how you want to do it because you enjoy creating content. But if you're forcing yourself to create content, the quality and the, people can sense it out that it's a very forced content. The person is specifically posting every day at 5 p.m. because he's been told to, or it's become like a to-do thing. Don't do it for that. If you're doing it just because you want to post content every day, your growth will become stagnant because people can sense that thing out. Just do it for the love of it because you like creating content, you love being in front of the camera, you love providing value to your audience. Do it for that, then only you will see great growth, then only you yourself will be pumped to create more content.
I think very interesting. It's about aligning it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's aligning it to your why, aligning it to your vision, aligning it to your purpose, and also to your audience. Because content creation is only not about what you want to put out, it's also about what your audience wants to listen. And speaking of which, I have a question. Infotainment sometimes cannot get the highest amount of likes, highest amount of views. It's not a very massy subject. But what do you think are the advantages of that industry? Like if somebody wants to get into that space, what is it that is the benefit of being there?
I think infotainment space, you're changing people's life. You're making other people become better version of themselves because you're providing them value. Which in self, it's a, you're actually doing the good work. You're not, while entertainment is great, everyone wants to be entertained, but you would also want to learn. And when you're building that audience for yourself, you're also building paying audience that would pay you because you're providing value to them. So as a creator community, when you're trying to build your community, that community will have the paying capacity, which will help you as a creator at the end of the day make money.
Very interesting. I feel content creators have to somehow be okay with failures.
Yeah.
They have to be.
Not creators, everybody.
Everybody,
Yeah.
in fact. And creation comes with creativity, and creativity involves making mistakes because creativity is about imperfection, right? Somewhere down the line, you can't say, I want a 10 on 10 creative idea. You can't get a 10 on 10 creative idea. You make it 10 on 10, eventually you add different pieces, you brainstorm and do all of these things. What do you think are some of the common mistakes I'll frame it differently. What do you think are some of the common early mistakes that most content creators can avoid?
Stop copying people. That I think is one thing that we have seen. Like, if something is working out for somebody else, you would just copy paste the entire thing. Stop doing that. You're not standing out in front of your audience. Audience can sense the bullshit out of you when you copy somebody else's content. Be very authentic to your audience. Put out content that you believe in, that you actually or you truly are. The time you're doing that, the time you're showcasing your personality, you're good to go. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to copy somebody else because they look cool in front of in the camera. If you're trying to impersonate, if you try to copy somebody else, that is like a huge red flag. Don't do it as a content creator.
Apart from that, can you give me another one or two of it?
Mistakes that a creator make. Expecting too fast, expecting everything too soon. Oh, मैं तो अभी content बनाना चालू किया, मेरे अभी तक million followers क्यों नहीं? ऐसे नहीं होता है, right? So, I mean, it's good, it's great to have that number in your mind that you want to reach to, but don't demotivate yourself when things don't happen for you. Be consistent enough. Don't lose out. You know, after creating content for like 2-3 months, you're like, shit, numbers nahi aaye. Then don't lose out on hope. Just be consistent, it'll happen. Be on the game. If you're in it, just be consistent. Just try to do what you're trying to do. You'll reach where you want to reach. But don't lose out on that consistency.
I think when you give me this advice, I travel back in time a year back when I was told by a lot of people, and I'm so happy I was surrounded with the kind of people. It could be Vasundhara, Manish Pandey, a bunch of people, Paritosh, and I've spoken to Deepak, and I've spoken to all these people who I've learned from, and I think what you're saying is absolutely true, and I can vouch for it because those are formulas that have worked for me also.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing a very, very, very good job. And for somebody who started at 2021 and in just 2 years to rope in some of the top content creators, I think it's phenomenal. I mean, I'm so inspired by the people I've met in Mumbai, and I'm sure knowing your journey has been one of those inspirational stories for me. So thank you once again for coming here, and I'm looking forward to not just having you on my show again, but also working with you and taking things to a bigger level.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your kind words. Wishing you all the best for the podcast and everything that you're building.
Thank you.
Thank you.